Allô, allô, allô. Un, deux. Ah oui, ça marche, c'est bon.
Un, deux, un, deux. Oh.
Magnifique.
Breaking news.
OK. Marek, si tu peux switcher sur le stream.
Okay.
Ah, nickel.
Okay.
Okay, so today Cicile and Yoann will do a seminar on the art of coding. So Cicile is a demo singer since 1999 and takes part in several retro gaming projects. So long story. As a lead host of the Underscore podcast about digital culture, she promotes the Retro Crossplay Network Floppy Battle project for every retro computer to play together network, I think.
Yeah.
Atari and Amiga for now, mostly. As an organizer of some retro events, and she works on the recognition of the demo scene as a cultural art in France for conservation and history. And Yoann is a research associate member of the mo5.com association, and he's responsible for software preservation as well, and involved in several open source projects. Now, so I let you complete your presentation and can go on.
Thank you for the introduction. So good evening, everyone here.
Good morning.
Good morning, evening, morning. I guess it's because of the
time.
the table with the.
Okay.
And good morning to everyone on the internet. I guess there are more watchers on the internet than just here.
Yes. Hi, Jeffrey.
As just has been said, we are members of the Art of Coding initiative, and we will present you what this Art of Coding initiative is and why it's important for you.
Okay. So, who are we? Like he say, I'm Cecile, I'm the listener, and I was organizer, staff member of a demo party called Alchemy for 20 years. I'm a project leader for half of coding for France, and we will explain with Yoann our approach to art of coding.
So I'm Yoann Lebas, just as been said. I'm research associate. That's the reason I origin the initiative, and member of mo5.com, as it's a French association. Its name is in French. So mo5.com association. And in this association, I'm responsible for software preservation. And two of our staff members are not here. Well, just be afraid, because the president, Philippe Dubois, is watching.
Yes.
he's
Hello,
always
Philippe.
watching. Hello, Philippe. So Philippe is the founder, the president of mo5.com association, and he's he is the man who started it in France. And Nick Kolanova is a socio-anthropologist, and it's quite important to have a socio-anthropologist in our team, and we will explain why just in a few moments.
Yes. So I will to call about demo scene in as indicated as the in vitro of this revision. We are many. Current statistic from Poet.net, one of the world's largest demo scene website with over 26,000 users. Poet.net hosts 91,610 production, 13,519 author groups, and the result of 1,358 demo parties over 23 years. So we are really many, and if you see the map, we are on the world in many places.
All right. So still, demoscene is important for you. I mean, it's kind of, well, it's an important part of your life, indeed. But the question is, do you realize how important it is for the world culture? In fact, demoscene is part of the global art culture. Even if it's quite underground, actually it's part of the world culture. And in fact, several practices from the demoscene are now, excuse me, have made their way into the other cultural practices. For instance, I don't know if you have seen the French movie that got on air last December called Mars Express. And if you have seen it, did you realize that one sequence of this movie is actually a citation from State of the Art? And I will not present you what State of the Art is. You know this better than me. So, in fact, you maybe do not realize it, but in fact, the demoscene is one of the greatest influence of the global, excuse me, of the world culture. And as such, it is a socio-anthropological phenomenon. So it's something worth to preserve and to study. And we'll go back to this socio-anthropological part just in a few moments.
Yes.
This is awful teasing. Forgive me.
Yeah. So, Art of Coding, I will to talk about this initiative. So, this collective is active since a few years. This initiative aims to enlist the demoscene as the first digital culture on the UNESCO Intangible World Cultural Heritage List. It was initiated by Tobias Kopka and Andreas Lang. So it's a good initiative, and for the future, it's really important for us.
Well, you probably know Tobias and Andreas. They are from Germany, and they are singers. I guess you know them better than me, in fact. So how does it work? Each UNESCO members are countries. Each UNESCO members maintains some up-to-date list on their own cultural practices. Using these lists, UNESCO used this list to create its own list for the world cultural practices. So, the idea is, demoscene, even if it's a counterculture, it's part of the global digital culture, and so the idea is to integrate such lists. Will give there is already some legitimacy, but it will give greater legitimacy for preservation. Our first aims is the preservation of the demoscene. We will explain why later. But also, the other aim is to legitimate studies for the demoscene. There are, there are several part of the demoscene, so that's something to be studied and reported.
So next. So I will talk about national enlisting. 5 local groups have already validated the enlistment of the demoscene in their national inventory. We have Poland, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland, and Finland. And the administrative processes are all different depending on the requirement criteria and the popularity of the demoscene. In France, of course, we have a high requirement. And for integrating UNESCO cultural heritage, in 2020, the Netherlands have integrated UNESCO list as a local cultural practice. Germany is nominated for this, and well, on this way, enlisting several local groups is a first step to be recognized as an international cultural practice. Concerning France, enlisting the Ministry of Culture is the first step that will ease UNESCO enlisting process. So I will to talk about state of French procedure. As a French team, it started with Philippe Dubois, and Andreas told him about the Art of Coding initiative, as Philippe is a member of IFGAMP, the European Federation of Video Game Archive, Museum and Preservation Project. He then contacted me on Flopin as an active member of the French demoscene. We then started the process to enlist French demoscene to UNESCO. UNESCO referred us to the French Ministry of Culture as the first step. And so began the administrative inertia. So since this time, we work hard with many people to fill this.
This file.
Yes.
Just one update, two updates in fact. Last week, the French Ministry of Culture has contacted us back. So just to ask us for sending them the draft of our file. And I've just finished, in fact, this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, I've just finished the modification I had to do to the draft. So I guess we will send the draft to the ministry next week. Thank you. So, what is our goal? The first step is, as in several countries, enlist the French demoscene into the French National Inventory of Culture. So we are well on our way. We can be, we are well on our way. I will not say anymore. And then just enlist into the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage. So one idea, the next step after enlisting the French list is to enlist the French demoscene to the UNESCO list, just what has been done for Poland and for Germany. Poland?
Oui, no,
Netherlands, excuse me, for the Netherlands and Germany. And this will help us to enlist the whole demoscene, the whole world demoscene, into the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage. So right now, our purpose is to finish the file for the French Ministry of Culture. We are almost there. All right, so now, why are we doing this? Not because it is fun to file some files.
Oh, see, yes, it's very fun.
Yeah. Well, the last few weeks I had to make some modifications to the file. It's been a nightmare, to be honest. Well, anyway, so one important thing is to save the demoscene for the next generations. We will talk a bit more about it in a few slides, but still it's something quite important. We have to realize that demos can just disappear, and we don't want that. Why are we doing it? Well, because nobody else have done it before. As nobody has done it, there are some people who must do it. So Germany started the initiative. And, well, of course, Philippe just go with this initiative as he goes with any world initiative when it's concerned digital culture. And so here we are. So we are active Demoscene members, active in digital heritage preservation. It means, well, that's what mo5.com is for. And we are active in diverse research areas such as sociology, anthropology, history, and so forth. So what is important when we try to preserve some culture? Just
yes.
Next.
What is the benefit for Demoscene? The immediate benefit to unlisting is to put the Demoscene on the light for a greater audience and to recruit maybe some new sceners. In any way, it is always beneficial it's being publicly highlighted. Moreover, being part of the institutional preservation programs will help us in a long-term preserving of our cultural practices. Such preservation will help us to keep track to the Demoscene evolution.
Now, being part of UNESCO intangible heritage gives some legitimacy for institutions, so for me, to take Demoscene into interest. And so it will ease academic research and institutional preservations. The goal of being part of UNESCO intangible heritage.
Donc, sorry. Fighting the fires. How it's hard. And what is hard? So the first step, and most important part for completing the file, was an historian work. Indeed, there weren't enough reliable sources. Therefore, I had to cross-check any piece of information I thought, such as newspaper article or television report, back from the very beginning on the scene to today. I also led several interviews and collected testimony from farmers and active members of the Demoscene. But the most important for me is seniors.
So there are many entities implied in filling this file. And one important point was to determine what information the institution need us to give to them. And so we've tried to take benefit of the experience of our predecessors, people who have already do such a work. And one important thing for the French Ministry of Culture is the validation of an anthropologist. So that's the reason I'm teasing you about an anthropologist since the beginning. The French Ministry asked us to have some anthropologists that validates our work to be sure it's worth preserving. So let's give some details on how it works. And I will do just like I'm doing some teaching. Good. So first of all, the art of coding, well, actually, the art of coding contacted us through Philippe. And Philippe then contacted Cicile, and the two of them together just built up the editorial team, the four of us. Then it has been a constant exchange with signers and the review team. I will talk about it later, but also with the institutionals. The institutionals being, of course, the UNESCO, of course, the French Ministry of Culture, and also experts in digital art. It happens that mo5.com is in touch. Excuse me. OMNSH, yes, l'OMNSH. Well, mo5.com is actually in touch with several experts, such as OMNSH in French.
So an association of experts in digital art.
Yes, and we are also in touch with the Beaubourg Museum and so forth. So there have been several exchanges with the singers. Cicile has led several interviews, she just told you. We have gathered together a review team because we don't just fill some file and that's it. It has to be validated. So we needed to build a review team. And then we send them the file, they give us some advice. So we modified the file, we send them the file, and so forth and so forth. And with all this exchange, at least, well, next week, yes, we'll be able to give it first step to the French Ministry and then to the UNESCO. So, well, this is how it works.
So, what the Mercenary can do? So it's obvious, sharing our knowledge, experiences, but also our production turned out to be something quite obvious for many years. It turned out, this is also a good way for preserving our practice and skills. So demos are actually facing an above risks before it's too late. We find a way to save our production. mo5.com have already started some works about it, and it turned out Yoann has been nominated to lead software preservation at mo5.com. We can build on these experiences.
Yes, so we have already started some work in preserving software, of course, and another digital art being video games. So we have already experimented with it, and we have identified 3 complementary ways to preserve softwares. But preserving softwares need to preserve the hardware. So the first thing is working on preserving copies of the machines running the software, so the machines running the demos, as well as readable medias of the software. Just a reminder, with a piece of paper has a lifetime of hundreds of years. A floppy disk has a lifetime of decades, something like that. So you need to make sure that you still have some medias that are readable. The second way is to document the machines, which allows for emulation. So software emulation, you know it quite well, but for the demo scene, it can be quite tricky because software emulation is not always quite precise. So we can also do some hardware emulation, you know, FPGA and so forth, and then keep some working copies. This time you don't need to have the original media. So this is a good other way. And for the most important, well, let's say the most important software, so the most important demos, one thing that can be done is to re-implement it for the new hardware. And so you keep quite close experience from what it was at its inception, but it's, well, it's much durable. But this part is very time-consuming, so we cannot do this for every piece of software, for every demos. So we have to select which one will be preserved this way.
Indeed.
Yeah?
Indeed. Ça marche plus. Attends. On échange. Okay. Indeed, you can still to popularize demoscene and keep the demoscene alive in France and beyond. It's really important. For example, to make demo parties like shadow parties. We have another parties like benediction party, and we hope to have another VIP, maybe. If EBUB want to make another parties. And you can supporting all initiatives to preserve our culture.
All right, so to conclude, Art of Coding is an international initiative. We are but one of the local teams. It's a transnational movement. Actually, there's something specific to France, and it's that UNESCO is based on France. So there's some privilege link with the UNESCO in France, but still we are but one of the teams working on the art of coding. Well, actually, the demo scene is very likely to be recognized as intangible heritage by the UNESCO. We're still working on it, but we will probably make it. So we have to keep in mind that this is but a first step. And the important goal is to preserve our demos, so to preserve your work, and to keep the community growing, because if the community stops to grow, it will just disappear.
Yes.
Now, if you want some more information, there is a Discord server of Art of Coding, so you can join it with this QR code. High technology. And also there is the website of the Art of Coding. So the address is demoscene-the-art-of-coding.net. So just do not hesitate to go to these sources and have some more information.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And this is the end of the seminars. Thank you for your attention. I want to say a special greeting for Analog, Boob, Coyote, Callisto, Chandra, Dax, Daon, Fenari Nassa, Fra, Flopin, Gargaz, Noodles, Logan, Oxab, Poke, Sergeant Slayer, Rodoudou, Wilby, and all the machiners who support our action. Thanks.
So maybe you have some questions, or maybe there are some questions from the internet. No questions? So either it was crystal clear or just impossible to understand. Crystal clear. Thank you.
Thanks.